And there we go.
And there we are. Oh, wouldn't be ready without Jackson.
Of course not. You knew we were back.
This is true. So far back.
Well, you're so far up there.
Well, I mean, maybe that's better. Can scooch forward a little bit. No?
I mean, I'm good here. That's fine. This is fine. We're fine.
I mean, now Jackson is center stage, so.
Perfect stream to
Hello,
come back to.
Kayla.
Hey, Kayla. How you been?
Hi,
Been
sir.
so long, I don't even know what to do with my hands.
Right? It has been quite a while. We're good. We're good. It's
Doing good.
honestly, it's good to be back.
I know, it's been fun making videos again. Ready to stream. Oh, RA again. Error messages for the stream. That's perfect.
That sounds pretty typical.
Oh, yeah. Definitely back. How was everyone's holidays? Get anything good to read? I did.
I got lots of good. Excited for this year. I got so much stuff that I want to read.
You missed the cats. I think Jackson missed the streams.
I think he did. I think.
This is the time when he gets to cuddle with us the most.
Oh. Gotta show you the butt.
Gotta have cat butt. All right. So why don't we just dive into it?
Okay.
And it's a new year.
It is a new year.
2024. Even number. What are you going to be reading this year? What's the first book?
Well, since I am almost done with Robert Galbraith's The Ink Black Heart, the next book I'm going to read is probably going to be The Running Grave.
What is that?
If
Robert Galbraith. That's J.K. Rowling under a different name, right?
Yep. That is J.K. Rowling's mystery series with private detective Cormoran Strike and his partner Robin Ellicott. There are 7 books in the series. I am currently reading book 6, Ink Black Heart. So once I'm done with that one, I'm probably just going to read the next one. That'll be the next book on the massive, gigantic list of books that I want to read this year.
Yeah. Yeah, after we started thinking about the stream, I realized like how many books that I actually have on my list.
I also need to finish Bitch.
It's not like a ton, but hey, watch your mouth. No, nothing. Okay.
This book, right here. Bitch. A revolutionary guide to sex, evolution, and the female animal. I'm almost done with it. I've got about 2/3 of the way through, and then I started reading the Galbraith novels, and I kind of got a little sidetracked. But I do want to finish this, and it's basically about how human bias has influenced how we look at animals and evolution and biology, and how there is a lot of underlying misogyny and bias in how we study animals. When Darwin wrote his grand theory of evolution, he basically said that female animals are passive bystanders in their own lives, which is very much a Victorian ideal. And that idea has pervaded research with well into even the 21st century, that females just kind of sit there and just accept whatever, and the males are the ones doing all the important things. But this book
Accurate, yes.
kind of lays bare that actually female animals are very competitive and very brutal and terrifying and are just as interesting and have their own agency as much as male animals. It's actually very, very interesting. I find all of the discussion about scientific bias fascinating.
I mean, I know you would. Zoologist, you
Yeah,
got to.
yeah.
Right up your alley.
It is right up my alley. So I need to finish it. But I'm a little sidetracked with Cormoran Strike. So I gotta get through that first.
It's kind of like me. I was reading, oh, you know what? I didn't actually think about putting this on my list. I'm gonna have to go get it. It's not the Angels of Our Better Nature. It's his next one. I'll go get it in a second. You keep talking. I'm gonna go grab this book.
Okay.
I can't remember.
I'm so sorry. Hello, Veronica. Welcome to the stream. Hello from New York. Oh. But yeah, highly recommend this. When I'm done with it, I'll do a review. But so far, so good. So good. The chapter on spiders, very interesting. Did you know that in this book, they talk about a species of antelope? I have to look it up. There's a species of antelope. Now, if you know anything about antelope, usually the males compete for female affections and they fight each other and yada, yada, yada.
Yes.
There is a species of antelope where the most desirable males just kind of like hang out, and the females all fight each other to get to the male, the most desirable male. And they have so much sex with the most desirable male that after a while he gets so tired and is like, stop, no more. And the females are like, I don't care. Give me that sperm. Give me those good genetics. And he's just
Put
like,
that baby in me.
yeah. And he's just like,
That's actually funny. I heard a thing like the other day about this marsupial that they're like very, they don't usually mate, but when they do, the male will mate to exhaustion with the female.
I mean, that's what lions do.
But he like dies.
Oh, yeah, lions don't die.
He dies from exhaustion.
There are other animals that do that.
And
they
I'm
talk
just
about
like,
that in
my
here.
God.
There are other animals.
What a way to go.
It's almost like male spiders who risk death for sexy time.
Or, I mean, right on the cover of the praying mantis.
Praying mantis, yeah.
I don't know what spiders do, but I do know praying mantis, the female, like, bites off the male's head afterwards.
Yeah, spiders do the same thing.
Oh.
Except with spiders, sometimes you don't know what's going to happen. She might accept you. She might eat you. You have to roll the dice.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. And there's one species of spider where they emit these frequencies that are like music. So they like play a song for the female, and if the female likes it and she thinks it's a good song, then like she'll mate with the male. But if she doesn't like it, she'll kill him and eat him.
Ooh. So much pressure.
Yeah. It's the Hannah. It is nonfiction, and it is very, very good.
Speaking of that, it just reminds me of The Martian. I don't want to ruin it for anyone who saw our review and wants to...
Do you mean Project Hail Mary?
Or Project Hail Mary, yeah. if anyone saw our review, but that's very interesting that you mentioned that with the spiders and the frequencies and everything.
Yeah. Well, when I read that chapter and they were talking about like spider music and all that stuff, that's all I could think about was that book.
Sounds like a rocky road to go down.
It's a rough and rocky road for sure.
Hey, Katie.
Oh, Katie, thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry I didn't tell you we were streaming. It was very spur of the moment, and I thought it might be too late for you. But I am glad you're here. You missed my Robert Galbraith bit. I talked about that for a minute.
I was gonna say, that's the series you're obsessed with right now.
'Cause it's so good. Cormoran's Strike is everything.
I mean,
Also Robin. She is
someone
also good.
suggested the Dresden Files. Kind of seems down that alley. Things you might like.
So yeah, someone did suggest that I read and review the Dresden Files, and I definitely am going to put that on my to-read list because Katie, I cannot remember if you have read the Dresden Files or if you told me to read the Dresden Files, but for anyone that doesn't know, basically he is like the main character is like a PI. Okay, so maybe Katie, maybe you and I need to read these together. The basic gist of the story is the main character is a detective, but he investigates magical crimes, and he's a wizard. That literally sounds like Strike and Harry Potter put together.
Basically, Arthur Weasley, the book.
I don't know if Arthur Weasley is a detective.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of is.
Doesn't
he work in the department where they find out with like the misuse of Muggle artifacts? So he has to dig in and find out, you know.
And steal evidence to repurpose in his garage.
No steal. What they don't know won't hurt him.
Right? It sounds interesting. I definitely think I'm going to check out the Dresden Files and see what's up. I'm going to look into it. Could be good.
I never heard of them. Someone suggested it in a comment, and I looked it up, and I was just like, wow, this sounds like everything you would want in a book.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Mystery, investigation, magic.
Kind of along that vein, I also want to try to read Deadly Education.
What?
A Deadly Education.
Go on.
It is written by Naomi Novik. A coworker recommended it to me, and I heard like a review about it. And I guess it's like a very quick read, but the basic synopsis is it's about this girl who goes to this magic school, and it's like Hogwarts, but with murder.
I would like to point out that there was plenty of murder at Hogwarts.
But everyone has like a unique ability, unlike Hogwarts where everyone learns magic. Everyone has a unique ability, and they go to this school and they compete against each other, and whoever is like the last man standing like wins. But the main character, my coworker described it to me as the main character is kind of like Voldemort, but doesn't want to be. So like her ability is that she's like really good at dark magic and is inclined to be like a dark wizard, but she has to like reconcile that because she doesn't want to be evil.
Like every serial killer ever.
Which really
Please stop me.
Which is why I'm like, this actually sounds like something I should really read. But I guess there's like 3 or 4 books in the series. So I do want to give A Deadly Education a shot. And then there's another series by Naomi Novik, the same author. And I can't remember the name of the series. I'm going to have to look it up. But the theme of the series is it's a retelling of the Napoleonic Wars, but they they have dragons.
All right, I'm all for that.
Right?
Let's retell history, but what would have happened if there were dragons involved?
Yes.
What, Napoleon is just Targaryen?
I don't know if Napoleon is actually in it, but this is the same coworker who recommended this series to me, and like he told me like the dragons all have different personalities and they have like different abilities, and the different characters like interact with the like it's a lot of fun, it's funny, and it's in
Was this a coworker who let you borrow the Redwall series?
No.
Oh, okay.
This was the coworker who like really liked Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and all that stuff. And he said like if you like dragons and Game of Thrones and stuff, this is kind of Game of Thrones-esque, but a little lighter. But the battle scenes are really cool. It's really funny, yada yada. So I'm like, maybe I really need to get into this Naomi Novik writer, because so far all of these things that she's written really sound like things I should read.
Does really sound right up your alley.
Right? It does.
Although, Deadly Education, when you said it sounds like a James Patterson novel.
The title?
Yeah. Like I'm not a fan of the title.
Ew.
That's all I'm gonna say. I can't comment on the book, but I'm not a fan of the title.
I'm gonna look up the dragon. I like the title blanked on me. The name of the no.
My personal opinion, you need to read Hyperion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I can kind of count that as a book that I'm reading this year. I only have 50 more pages, but I'm reading it now in 2024. But it's such a good book. I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm going to do a review on it in the next couple of weeks. But like, I think it's, again, kind of right up your... Honestly, it's Dungeons and Dragons in space.
I'll read it. I'll read it then.
Like, it is at its core, and everything about it is a sci-fi novel, but it's like this pilgrimage with these 7 individuals, and you have like your you have your druid, you have your warrior, you have
the trope characters.
the trope characters. It was just kind of funny because, like, by the end of the first one, I'm like, what the heck? This is someone's D&D campaign.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Hyperion is one that I've wanted to read for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it.
And, I mean, be prepared to read 2 books because you can't just read the first one. I've never read a book that ended on such a cliffhanger.
Oh, I have. You know what it was called? The Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith. What a cliffhanger.
I don't think you understand.
No, I don't think you understand about the cliffhanger that was Career of Evil.
Well, no, I don't.
No, you
But
do not.
I still say Hyperion. Man, that was a cliffhanger. So I'll be finishing up Hyperion because it is a great book.
As far as books that I do not currently have in my possession, all of the Naomi Novik novels, there's another book that I really want to read that I currently don't have because it's on pre-order, but it is called The Book of Bill.
Oh, that's the
It is
Gravity Falls
a
book,
Gravity
right?
Falls book. Kind of like Journal Number 3 that was published a few years ago, but it is from the perspective of Bill.
That'll be interesting.
I gotta read that shit.
I think it's so funny. Ramona, like, was all about it, and she, like, watched it, and she was like, all right, that was a good show. I'm moving on. You're just here like, it's such a good show.
I am so
I'm
deep.
obsessed.
Yep. Ramona liked Gravity Falls. I love Gravity Falls. So much more.
So, yeah, Hyperion is the first fiction book I'm going to read, but after I finish that, I'm going back to Enlightenment Now by Steven Pinker. because I was actually in the middle of reading this when I was just like, I've read a lot of nonfiction. I'm just gonna dive into Hyperion because Noelle got that for me. I think last Christmas,
Yeah.
and I would like start it, and then something would come up, and then enough time would pass. I was like, I should start it again. I don't really remember too much that happened,
Mhm.
so I go back and I start again. This time I got into it and I got sucked in and I had to finish it. But this is a great book. And honestly, it's kind of funny because it's a bit dated. Give away somewhat of a spoiler, but not really. So it's Enlightenment Now. It basically goes through everything that's going on in the world now, and it comes at you with the science and statistics about like human progress and everything. And it's kind of an uplifting book if you think like everything's going to shit in the world,
Mm.
because it kind of shows you
Kind of
like
feels like that sometimes, doesn't it?
it shows you like, yeah, everything is bad, but if we go back a couple hundred years ago, it was way worse.
Yeah.
So as bad as it is now, it was worse. I say that some of this is dated because there's a whole section on like war and everything. And he basically was saying like, we never see large scale wars because now that we're in developed countries, no one's dumb enough to actually, start a war because everyone's kind of at odds, and it's just it deteriorates the economy. Everyone loses. And this was released in like 2019, I think.
And
Or
then
2018.
some leaders were like,
And then,
hold my beer.
yeah,
Wait.
hold my vodka.
Hold my vodka. We can do some things. You just wait. We will do it.
So yeah, that was a section I'm just like, oh, that didn't age well.
No, that did not age well.
But overall, it's definitely a book to read. If it's kind of like the atheist, spiritual book.
Have you ever heard
If you're not the type that can like believe in anything spiritual to kind of see the good in things, or it's God's choice, whatever, this is a way to look at things and be optimistic towards them. I think it's a great book if you're feeling down or anything like that.
pessimistic about the way things are going?
Yeah.
That section aged like a fine quarter pounder with cheese. Oh, fuck. Have you ever heard the phrase "May you live in interesting times"?
No, actually, I haven't.
So there's a phrase that people nowadays usually say as like a toast or a compliment, like "May you live in interesting times," but it's actually an older Chinese curse that people would say to each other when they wanted to like hurt each other. They would say like, "May you live in interesting times." You could kind of argue that right now we're living in very interesting times because there's a lot of shit going on, and not all of it is good, but there's just like a lot of shit going on.
I feel bad for the grandchildren that have to study this in history class.
So, they would say, "May you live in interesting times" is kind of like a curse, that if you are living in times of great upheaval and war and troubles, that they wish that upon you, because when you live in times of peace and calm and whatever else, life is easy, life is good. But when you live in interesting times, shit be hard. So it was a way of kind of like willing that kind of stuff upon another person. But today, people have kind of twisted it to think that it means like something good. It's kind of along the phrase what Gandalf says to Frodo, when Frodo hears everything about the ring and what he's got to do, and he's like, "I didn't ask for this. I don't want to do this. I didn't ask for this." And Gandalf says, "Nor does anyone who lives in such time, but it is what we do with the time given to." That whole like spiel that he.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like maybe there's a little bit of that energy. Listen, We're living in interesting times right now. But you have no idea how interesting it was in, like, 1357.
Yeah. Or, I mean, it'll
When we
even-
didn't have plumbing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we might be at war in several places, but you know what? You got a toilet. You got the internet.
Yeah.
You can read.
Yeah.
That's the thing that gets me about people who are like, things were so much better in 1752. Really? Were they? Were they really? Think about it for a second. You couldn't go to the store and buy butter. You had to fucking make your own butter.
Right. Things might have been better if you were super wealthy and you had a bunch of, like, servants to do everything for you.
Like, yeah.
Servants make everything better, though.
They do, actually. Hire, servants. That's the key. That's what makes it all better. Having help. But while we're on the, like, nonfiction train, I'll just plop another one up here. I got this book a while ago, didn't read it. Sea Dragons. Predators of the Prehistoric Oceans.
Guessing that's about, what are they? The big thing that kills everyone in Jurassic World.
Mosasaurus.
Mosasaurs, yeah.
This is literally a giant book all about prehistoric reptiles and their phylogeny and their evolution and their extinction and their behavior, or at least supposed behavior. Look, pliosaurs. The mosasaurs got to be in here somewhere. It's got to be later, though, because pliosaurs came before mosasaurs. So hang on a second. I gotta look and see. I gotta look. Yeah, there it is. There it is. The mosasaurs. There they are, right there.
Oh, yeah.
But this book is supposedly one of the best books out there on the market currently. I mean, this was published a while ago. So there may be some inaccuracies, but there is not another book on the market right now with so much comprehensive information. So, I mean, this was published in 2003, so I'm sure there's a lot of new information out there now, but this is like the most comprehensive examination of prehistoric marine reptiles, and I cannot wait to read it. This is like some real niche nonfiction right here. But this,
I was going to say, it takes a special type of person to be as excited as you are right now over that book.
I want to read this so bad. I want to get into all the stuff about the marine reptiles. Cause I love me some marine reptiles, man. They are cool. I mean, look at that. Look at that. He's eating a baby. Like, yeah, I'm excited about it. But I also realize that if I read this and then publish a review on the channel, that maybe not a lot of people will really be into it. But like this is what I'm excited about in 2024. I love dinosaurs. I love prehistoric reptiles, and this is like some deep science shit, and I love that stuff. So I'm super excited about it.
I was going to say, that's like textbook.
This is like a textbook. Like, honestly, this is probably
nonfiction.
like, this is something that if you were going to be a paleontologist and you were going to study marine reptiles, you would probably read this, or at least use it as a reference. That's what this book is. But I am a super nerd, so I really want to read this.
I was going to say, there's like 3 people that read that for fun.
Yeah, there probably are, and I am one of them. But I'm super stoked. Peter Benchley. Ellis has written the paleo-historical equivalent of Jaws.
I mean, you kind of got me there if it's just like Jaws.
It's not like Jaws.
Oh.
I mean, it kind of is, because marine reptiles were gruesome.
I saw the Meg, I know.
So there's a lot of, like, brutality. But I mean, Mosasaurus had 2 sets of jaws.
They were pretty cool.
They're pretty awesome.
They're very unique.
Pliosaurs are also really cool. Do you want to go next? Do you want to do the next book? I do literally. I have.
I didn't know if you wanted to say any more.
No, I could talk about marine reptiles for a hot minute.
I was gonna say I don't have much on marine reptiles. Like,
I mean, I have 5 more books here.
Marine reptiles are cool. I liked them in Jurassic World. Wish there was more of them in the Meg.
I wish there was more of them in the Jurassic Park series.
That's about it. Maybe that'll be like the next one. It'll be, instead of Jurassic World, Jurassic Ocean, and it'll be like a Meg Jurassic World crossover. You're gonna have
Please.
Chris Pratt and
Does it have to be Chris Pratt?
yeah.
Oh, and Jason Statham.
Yeah. Like in a submarine under the water or something.
Looking at
Jason Statham is gonna stop like a herd of mosasaurs. Like what's his name does?
Mosasaurus is a family,
Raptors.
not a species. Mosasaurus is a species.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of mosasaurs. It's gonna be a bunch.
No,
of them.
mosasaurs are a
kinds.
family. Mosasaurus is a species. Mosasaurs comprise Mosasaurus, Hylosaurus, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be like all of them just coming at him. He's gonna be like, gonna have a bond, a connection with them.
I want to see an Attenborosaurus if doing this movie.
Wait, is that a thing? An Attenborosaurus?
Yes, it's a plesiosaur.
Oh,
It's not a mosasaur. It's different.
we get it. We get it. I'm not here to offend any paleontologists.
I just had to specify that it's a plesiosaur.
Coming up with a stupid movie that's not even going to exist.
I'm
because
just
it's
saying
too
you better put
stupid.
plesiosaurs in the movie. You can't just have mosasaurs in the movie. You gotta put plesiosaurs in it too.
All right, so what I'm gonna be.
Yes. Okay. Go. I
Next-
actually want to read this too.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie, this
the
looks
next
really good.
fiction I'm gonna read is Rumo by Walter Morris. If you don't remember Walter Morris, he's the one who wrote Captain Blue Bear, the 13 and a half lives of Captain Blue Bear, which is honestly to this day
One of your favorites.
top 3 favorite fiction books of all time, probably.
Oh wow.
I loved it. I
Wow.
think Walter. I'm not gonna say that it might have been just a one-off. Maybe this book will be awful, but I don't think I've enjoyed a book quite as much as I enjoyed that.
Interesting.
There's very few books where I say, oh, it made me laugh, and I actually laughed. Usually when I say like a book is funny or it made me laugh, usually I'll blow air through my nose at high velocity, like
Mm-hmm.
at most. No, I'm pretty sure I actually like had to stop for a second and laugh it out
See,
with that book at a couple sections.
the strike novels do that to me. There have been moments with the strike novels where I've stopped and like actually laughed out loud.
Oh, but yeah.
Rowling has good
So-
comedic timing. She does.
So this one I have not started, and I really don't know anything about it.
You bought it because there's a BD on it.
Also, it's the next book. Well, no, this isn't. There's actually a book before this, but it hasn't been translated into English.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is the next English version. There's one that you can get in German, but
You don't speak German.
I don't like the book that much yet to learn German just to read it.
I want to read that as well.
And
Oh,
yeah,
how did he
there's a
like
Bailey
it?
on there.
Did he like Captain Blue Bear? Katie said they just finished.
Ooh,
Did he like it? I hope he liked it.
I hope he liked it. It's so good.
I really liked it. It was so much fun. I don't know if it'd be like top all-time favorite, but
Oh, is Rumo too grown up? I can see that. Well, that's kind of weird because I mean, this one has like the cute little naked pupper and the Bailey. You got everyone laughing, some dinosaurs. This seems more like a kid's book than Captain Blue Bear.
the cover doesn't really tell much. That looks like this guy on the spine looks like The Tin Man and Mr. Krabs.
I could see it.
Oh, dark and deep. I like that.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll like this one more than Captain Blue Bear then. I like deep
No,
things.
I think she was saying that Captain Blue Bear was a bit dark, deep.
Oh,
because you never
he
finished.
loved it.
You never finished Captain Blue
I
Bear.
did
you?
not finish Captain Blue Bear. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah, you should.
So,
At the end, it gets like very deep.
oh, gotcha.
Like there are some parts about like the third act that I wasn't like a huge fan of in Captain Blue Bear, but honestly, everything else, they were just small gripes with it. Overall, it was just such a great book.
You said the bit with the ship.
The bit with it. Oh, yeah, that was a little.
Tense?
Yeah, that was intense. I wouldn't say anything to spoil it for you, but yeah.
So these next books I have, I'm just going to do them as a series because they kind of have to be read in tandem, I think. They're all by the same author, Kevin Sullivan, and we have The Bundy Secrets, Hidden Files on America's Worst Serial Killer,
Oh, these.
The Trial of Ted Bundy, Digging Up the Untold Stories, and The Bundy Murders, A Comprehensive History.
Should I be worried?
So Kevin Sullivan has written 6 books about Ted Bundy. These are 3 of them. These are like they say the first 3 that you should read in order. The 6th one is kind of like a reference. It's the Ted Bundy Encyclopedia. Me once. Very badly. But Thrift Books no has. Right now.
Well, can't you check like Amazon or something?
It's stupid expensive on Amazon. I looked.
Oh.
So this one is kind of like a biography of Ted Bundy. Like an in-depth biography of Ted Bundy.
Don't you have like 3 biographies of Ted Bundy now?
No.
4?
No. I have Conversations with a Killer and Confessions of a Killer. Those are not biographies. They're different. And then this one is all about files and documents that were not accessible to the public that this guy has been given access to, that he's gone through and done the research and presented. So these are just like details about the case and Ted and things that are hitherto unknown that are being brought to light. So like secrets are no fun. So that's that one. And then this one, The Trial of Ted Bundy. This one's all about like interviews with people who like have previously not been interviewed, and so just stories from people who knew Ted that were never
that survived.
That were never, like, people who were just never interviewed until this guy came and he found them and he did all this research. So I got all this new information about Ted Bundy that I never had before, that I could get access to. I thought I knew everything, but I was wrong.
But will you read the Dresden Files?
Yes, I will read the Dresden Files. I'm just saying, I look at all this Ted Bundy information.
No, I just brought it up because I think that's the same person who asked you in the comments. But yeah, we did discuss that earlier about reading the Dresden Files.
Yes, we did discuss the Dresden Files earlier in the stream. That's all right, Kayla. I understand.
And your Harry Potter conference.
It should be. Melanie tried to post a link a week or 2 ago, and it didn't work. So I'm going to have to...
Wait, did they upload it?
I'm gonna have to go through and check and see, but yes, the Harry Potter conference talk should be available. I'm just gonna have to go and look and see if it's up or Melanie's link didn't go through. I just gotta putz around and get it up there.
And we're actually working on a more condensed version to upload to the channel here.
Yes. Yes.
What did you have? You had 40 minutes and you ran out of time?
I didn't have 40 minutes. I had 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. I just remember, like you said, you only got through like half of.
I got through like half of it.
Yeah.
So I didn't even get through everything. I'm gonna run to the loo real quick.
So we're working on like condensing it down and getting a full video so you can see the entire conference. But I think that whoever it was that hosted the conference probably uploaded it so you can see her presentation. Well, now that she's gone, I guess we can talk about my next book, which somewhere up here. There we go. Parallel Worlds by Michio Kaku. If no one has read a Michio Kaku book, I highly recommend it. He is one of the great science writers. He always has an anecdote that is relatable for like every concept in the book. He has a great way of writing that nothing really feels like it ever gets dry or that you're reading a like textbook. Oh, Hannah, have you read it? This is like the only Michio Kaku book that I have not read at this point.
Oh, Parallel Worlds?
Yeah. Another thing I love about Michio Kaku is a lot of his books pertain to like future tech and everything that might be possible in the future, which I really find interesting, just thinking about like how modern concepts can translate into future progress. Like, I think he recently released a book on quantum computing, or maybe it was quantum mechanics, something to do with quantum. I really want to read that one too.
I found more books that I still need to read.
Oh my god. I thought I had a backlog.
I have a huge backlog.
Did you ever read any of the Michio Kaku books? You read the one, right?
No.
No?
No.
I thought I convinced you to read the...
You convinced me to read it. I haven't gotten there yet.
Future of the Mind.
Yeah, I wanted to read it. I just haven't read it.
Oh. Future of the Mind was like the Michio Kaku book that got me into him. It was so interesting. And to see like a lot of the things that he talked about in that book are like actually coming into being now is very interesting. I think after seeing like some of his predictions coming true now, reading his other books, it's like it makes it more exciting because it's like, ooh, he was right about a lot of stuff in the last one. What could he be right about in this one? You got to read it.
I'll read it. I'll definitely read it. I'm down for some Michio Kaku. It's not that I don't want to. It's just I haven't got there. I find him very fascinating. I find his ideas fascinating. I find what you have told me about all of his books fascinating.
And I will always say, like, as far as science writers go, Michio Kaku has a gift.
He's a good writer.
It's just so good.
He's a scientist, but he's also a good writer.
Like his books never really get stale or dry. Like
nice.
Even some of the other best writers, you know, there's always like some sections where there's just needed explanation, like of concepts and stuff, and it's just kind of like, okay, a squared plus b, you know, so on and so forth.
That stuff doesn't bother me. I don't know.
Well, sometimes it does
I don't know.
with certain writers.
All right, fair enough.
But anyways,
How do we feel about On the Prowl in Search of Big Cat Origins? So this is a new book about...
how many of these are on Big Cat Origins? 'Cause
No.
I know you have like
No,
like 5 books over there.
No, I do, but they're not all about big cats.
Okay.
So, I have another book called Big Cats and Their Fossil Relatives, and that was considered like the best kind of textbook about the origins of big cats, because unlike other modern mammals, there's a lot of mystery and gap in the big cat fossil record. So the idea has always been that big cats originated in Africa, and the fossil record has always said that big cats originated in Africa. However, of the modern big cats, lions, tigers, jaguars,
Bears, oh my.
lions, tigers, jaguars, leopards, snow leopards. Snow leopards are the most primitive biologically. So this book came out examining the fossil record again, and this book says that big cat origins are to be found in Asia. So this is all about the new findings in the world of big cat fossil record and phylogeny and big cat evolution.
Mhm.
So, yes,
Oh.
want to read it.
Especially now that you're starting to work with the big cats. Perfect.
Yes.
Really dive into it.
Get all up in
Get
them
that
big
motivation.
kitties.
Brian Greene is a great writer. I love the Elegant Universe. And yeah, you're right. He's very much like, here's what we know so far. He doesn't like theorize quite as much as Michio Kaku does.
See, I like that the idea of taking what so far and these are the possibilities. Here's what I think. Based on the evidence, be this.
Yeah,
I like
that's what he does.
I like reading what people think.
I think you would also like his books simply because BBB. That was the worst stutter I've ever had, I think. He is obviously a huge fan of Star Trek.
Heck
Like-
yeah.
Like a lot of times he references it that he grew up like watching like Star Trek.
So I'll
and
get all
Flash-
those references.
Yeah. And like some of that like inspired him to think about like physics and everything and kind of got him into it.
That's
but there's
cool.
a ton of references that I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But I feel like you would have more of a connection to those.
Oh, for
references.
sure.
Like, oh my God, I remember that episode.
Oh.
It was crazy.
Big time, big time. I've seen the original series like 1,000 times.
Yeah. So again,
I also have Komodo dragons, biology and conservation.
God, you've had that for years. You haven't read
I
that?
haven't read this yet. No. It's all right, Katie. Thank you for popping in. It was so good to see you.
Have a good night.
It's basically that. It's all about Komodo dragons, their biology, their evolution, and what the best possible plans for conservation could be for such a keystone species, because they could potentially be in trouble. And I love Komodo dragons so much. So yeah, this is right up my alley. This is all about, this is the Komodo dragon. Here's its evolution. Here's its phylogeny. Here's its biology. How do we save it? These are the options. Must read this.
All right. My next book is Winds of Winter. This is definitely coming out this year.
My next book is also Winds of Winter. I will drop everything to read that book.
George R.R. Martin said that he was working on it. So it's got to be this
He
year.
just
This is the
spoke to
year.
his publisher in December. They had a meeting in December.
Oh my God. Come on, they couldn't delay it for 20
Or was it his
time.
editor? I don't know. He had a meeting with somebody in It was either his editor or his publisher. I can't remember who. But Winds of Winter. I'm calling out for that.
Are you sure it wasn't his bookie for betting on
No.
football?
No.
Then on the Super Bowl?
Oh my God, I heard.
Or was it about some legal negotiations for the train he owns now?
When I was on my way to work today, they were talking about the Detroit Lions. And they did a play on The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're playing or whatever, and I don't follow football. Can you tell? And they were just like, I'm away. And then they were like, the Lions fans tonight. Ooh, everybody's watching football. Everybody's a Lions fan tonight. It was so stupid. It was so dumb.
Cringe.
Yeah, I don't care about football.
But there was another one. I'm trying to think which it was. I do want to finish the Witcher series.
Oh, yes.
That's the other thing.
I would also like to finish the Dune series.
I don't have any of the next books, but I need to get those.
I need to finish Dune. I have the 4th book. I haven't read it yet. And then I guess I need to read 5 and 6, even though they don't really sound that interesting. But I should read them.
Good. How can you call yourself a fan if you don't?
This is fair. And I've wanted to read God Emperor of Dune for so long, but it holds such a place that I'm like, I'm not ready. When I'm ready, I will read it.
Oh, also, speaking of books that haven't been released yet, there is that Stephen King short story collection.
Oh yeah, I'm stoked about that.
Releasing in May.
The what is it? Something darker, something you like it darker or whatever.
It gets darker.
It gets
something
darker.
Like that.
Yeah, something like that. I saw that Stephen King was putting out a new short story collection. I was like, ooh, that sounds good. I like me some Stephen King. I'll check that out.
Oh, always.
I don't know if anything's gonna beat Lawnmower Man though.
Right after reading that stuff, I'm like, how can it get darker?
Boogeyman and Lawnmower Man, 2 of my favorites.
That was Lawnmower. No.
I loved Lawnmower Man. That was so good. I know that Noelle really liked I am the doorway.
Yeah,
like
the
that?
eye on his hand.
Eyes on his hand. Nah, Lawnmower Man.
No. No. Not gonna happen.
I also have this book.
Oh, I thought that was a worm at first.
The Book of Snakes. It is pretty much an encyclopedia of snakes. Over 600 species represented. I want to read it.
Nerd.
I'm the kind of person who will not just use an encyclopedia as a reference. I will just actually read it. And yeah, I want to read the Book of Snakes. I want to know about the large-scaled shield tail.
I mean, it sounds cool.
And the Emmaus blind snake. Look at that guy. That guy actually looks like a worm. But it is a snake. What about the Central American graceful brown snake?
Oh, very graceful.
Yes. The many-spotted snake. I don't know. I like this kind of stuff.
Sounds like they got tired of naming snakes. I don't know. That one's a spotted brown. What's that one? It has a lot of spots. A many-spotted snake. Just I don't know. There's too many of these things.
There are a lot of snakes.
That's why we all just call them danger noodles and
nope ropes. What would you say Yorm is?
A cuddle cable.
A cuddle cable? Yorm is the sweetest man.
Voldemort's favorite book for sure. Guaranteed.
Heck yeah. Voldemort would love this.
He would probably go kill the author because there's no Nagini in it.
And
What do you mean a boa can't be venomous? Let me show you.
I mean, I could look through this book and see if I can find a snake that best matches Nagini's description.
That might be interesting. I mean, there is a poisonous snake. So.
Yeah, but she's not poisonous. She's venomous.
I know. But I'm just saying.
Right.
Like, for all those people that always
They're
messed it up and said
poisonous.
they're poisonous, not
Yeah,
venomous.
there is actually a poisonous snake. Yes.
And maybe if we read this book, we would know a little bit better. Educated. So this is a memoir about basically from a teacher and examining the education system. I'm pretty sure it's just the education system in the U.S., but I'm not sure if she dives into...
Is this going to depress me if I read it?
I've actually had this book for about a year, and I've been scared to read it because Ramona's in school, and that's my fear, too. Like, am I going to read this and just be sad?
Yeah, that's what I look at that, and I'm like, I mean, it looks interesting. It really does, and I'm sure I'd find it very fascinating. But then would I also come away from it going, what's the point?
Into private
right,
school.
or something like, It does look good though. Like that's something I would read as well.
Yeah, it's been praised as a great book. But
but I mean,
kind of
so is Crime and Punishment, but that shit's depressing. Like
oh, even Bill Gates reviewed this. An amazing story and truly inspiring.
Hannah said that Educated is good. It's just very choppy.
So
So the pacing and the narrative is a bit off, perhaps. Hello, Chester. We've been busy. I have been swamped at work. Work has been kind of crazy for me, and it is now, work is very exciting, but it's been crazy. Lots of things have been happening.
I've just been working on.
You got your
classes and
MD?
school stuff.
That's
What?
cool.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. That's fantastic. Oh, okay. The author sounds like she was still processing while writing the book.
Oh.
That makes for an interesting tone.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you'll find out whether it works or it doesn't.
I guess so.
That's all right.
Maybe this will be the next one. I'm just gonna start this and read it.
It's a short one.
And just get. That's what I mean. It's short. I'll get it out of the way because I have been putting it off. I'm just gonna bite the bullet.
So before I'm just gonna finish off with my last round of zoological insanity. Crocodiles of the world. Crocodiles of the world.
I heard you.
All the information you could ever want about all species of crocodilians and all the disputes as to whether all species of crocodilians are in fact those species and whether or not we need to divide and create new species, etc., etc. There are some that are still on the table as to whether or not this is a subspecies. Is it an actual different species? There used to be like 10 species of crocodilian. Now there are like 27. And there's another one where people are like, this is actually a different species. And then other people are like, actually, it's not. So there's a lot of that conversation in there about what defines a species and should this animal be a species? Is it a subspecies? Yada, yada. Plus, the classic blockbuster favorite crocodilians like the Nile crocodile and the Saltae and, caimans, alligators. Don't shoot them.
Oh.
Orinoco crocodiles.
Do we shoot them or not shoot them?
No, don't shoot them. It's just all things crocodiles. I'm gonna plop that right there too, because crocodiles are also in my like top 10 favorite animals of all time. Love me a crocodilian.
Wow. Okay. You definitely have more books planned than I do.
I know. I still got 2 more over here
Like
that I gotta talk about.
these and The Witcher are like what I have planned, and then whatever surprises may come.
They're planned.
I haven't
got 2
really
more.
heard of like any interesting books being released this year that I'm like, ooh, I gotta read that.
Did I get my last 2 out of the way then?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I got 2 more. We got. Ooh. Inside the Mind of BTK by John Douglas. I don't know how familiar you are, all of you, with crime, but John Douglas was
Hopefully not too familiar.
At ground zero with the development of the behavioral sciences unit at the FBI. He is like the profiler of serial killers. But this is him basically detailing his role in the BTK investigation and how like his profile failed, I guess. Because they couldn't catch him for like 20 years. But this is his account of the BTK case. So it's the first John Douglas book I will be reading. I have heard that people say that in his writing he has like a huge ego, which kind of makes sense because you've watched Mindhunter.
No.
You didn't watch Mindhunter?
No. You kept trying to get me to watch it, and I was like, I don't really want to.
Well, if anyone has watched Mindhunter, Holden, is that his name? He's based off of John Douglas, and his character has like a huge ego. I guess this guy has like a massive ego, but at the same time, he is considered like one of the best profilers the FBI has ever had, so he can kind of put his money where his mouth is. But people have said that his ego kind of like gets in the way of the writing, like it's very present in the writing.
Mm.
So we'll see. I don't know.
I mean, that's a good one to do a review on, you know. Let people know your thoughts.
Yeah.
Does he have an ego?
Sure.
Does he not have an ego?
And if he does, how distracting is it
Yeah.
in the writing? So I've got that one. So that's just like the BTK case. Then I've got this one, Confession of a Serial Killer, Inside the Mind of BTK, by Catherine Ramsland, PhD.
I should definitely be worried, shouldn't I?
So she is a...
You keep ignoring me when I say
she's
that.
a psychiatrist, right? She had unprecedented access to BTK. She wrote to him. She talked to him a lot, and she basically worked with him to try to figure out what the hell is up with him by having him also like introspect into his own deviancy and his own issues and whatever else. And it's basically just like documentation of like her conversations with him and her analysis of him as a personality. But this one has a lot of like kind of like confessions of a kind of like The Only Living Witness that are like the Ted Bundy interviews. This is a lot of like BTK in his own words, kind of. So it'll be interesting to read that, to see what he has to say about himself. I saw that there's like illustrations in here about like his ideal like torture chamber setup and like where he would set it up and what kind of... Oh, that's a penis. There's pictures. Surprise, there's pictures. But yeah, so I can't wait to read this one. I think I'm going to really like this one. This one's a little more on the fence, like, eh. We'll see how the narrative is, but this is like first-hand account stuff, kind of like The Only Living Witness. The only thing I will say that if you ever do read anything about serial murderers and they do have interviews with the murderers and they have first-hand accounts with the serial murderers, when you read them, like, you have to take them with a grain of salt. You have to understand that they're all braggadocio and bravado and ego, and there's a whole bunch of like stuff going on, so you have to kind of like interpret what they're saying and don't take it at face value, because they be saying things, and you gotta kind of read through the bullshit a little bit.
That should be your fan fiction.
What
that you write?
What
you should write a fan fiction where you like caught Voldemort and you're like interviewing him.
Oh,
biography.
My God. That's brilliant. Oh my God. That is the fan fiction.
That would be great.
Oh my God. That's a brilliant. Oh my God. What an idea. I need to write that down so I don't forget it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you better. I mean, my brain only works about 1% of the time.
I know, so that was a stroke of genius right there. I gotta find my notes. And enrichment. That's not what I want.
The Percy Jackson series, we have thought about reading it. We actually got it because so many people recommended it. We just haven't gotten around to it.
Ilya there. She's just like, what the F? I'm sorry.
But I'm not against reading Percy Jackson. There's just a lot of books that are ahead of it, I guess.
Same. I would be willing to read Percy Jackson as well, but like there's just a lot of other stuff I want to read first.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Like I really want to finish the Witcher series. I feel I was on a good roll with the Witcher series, going through the books, and then season 3 on Netflix came out, and it like put a bad taste in my mouth.
Made you want to vomit?
With the Witcher.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess yeah, that was kind of it, and then kind of put me off of it for a while. Even though the books are great, they do not. The series on Netflix is not a good representation of the books. The books are fantastic if you want like dark fantasy.
Maybe you just needed a little distance. I do not have an anthropology background. I have a zoology background.
Mm.
That is
wasn't at one point.
That is my field. I'm a zoologist. That's my field.
And didn't at one point you take classes on marine biology, or you were going to?
I took a marine biology. I took a marine biology class. Yeah. It was awesome. I liked it. I am currently a zookeeper. That is what I do for work. But my education is in zoology.
Hence all the animal anthropology.
Hence all the animal stuff. All the
serial killer goes. I don't know.
The serial killer stuff just is I be weird like that.
I guess so.
I like that abnormal psychology stuff.
Normal white girl stuff, true crime.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, basic white girl stuff, true crime. Yeah. I do fit that mold.
It really is like everyone I know.
Because you refuse to embrace that true crime is where it's at and it's awesome.
No.
It is, though.
I grew up with that stuff. My grandma used to watch it all the time. My mom, even my sisters. But I'm true crimed out.
How can you be Ted Bundy'd out? All right. All right.
They're all reruns. We know what he did.
What did he do? You don't even know. What does BTK stand for? You don't even know.
I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know. They're all different. They're all different. But same. But different.
I don't know. Big Tony's Killer. I don't know.
Oh, Ilya. Yes. Saw the Avatar trailer. Cautiously optimistic. Kind of excited. But scared. That's how I feel about that.
It looks. Oh wait.
Sorry.
It looks great. Like the characters, the casting's amazing. The costumes look great. Even like the effects that we saw look great.
For TV, they look good.
It all comes down to the writing.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Like they've already nailed the visuals. Just do good. They also have like some great actors, so I'm not worried about the acting.
They do have a great cast. I mean, they even cast the original voice actor that played the Cabbage Guy to be the Cabbage Guy in the show.
It's gonna be great.
That's cool. But if the writing sucks, the writing sucks.
I mean, that's what happened with the Avatar movie.
That is not the only thing that happened to the Avatar movie.
No, but that was a huge part.
The writing was terrible, but they also got the cultures way wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in the TV show, it's very apparent that the Earthbenders are Chinese. The Airbenders are Tibet. The Waterbenders are Inuit. And the Fire Nation are Japanese.
Yeah.
Did not happen in that movie whatsoever. Like the cultures, and like I feel like in Avatar, those respective cultures were represented, and they tried to respect them and really like bring that out. Like you even see it in the fighting styles. Like I watched this whole thing about how they did a whole thing about the fighting styles of the Earthbenders being synonymous with some kind of Chinese martial art, and the Japanese fighting styles and the Firebender fighting styles being synonymous with each other. Like they animated it to be different in that way to like represent those specific cultures. And then the Avatar movie was just like on all that.
So we're gonna do what we want.
Yeah.
It was awful.
What? I do wish they brought Rufio back to play Zuko, but I guess he's too old.
Who is playing Zuko? I saw he's playing
I can't remember.
Fire Lord.
Oh yeah, it's Daniel Day Kim.
Yep.
Who I think is a great choice.
And then I still don't know the guy's name, but the guy from Kim's Convenience, Uncle
Iroh. Yeah.
Which I think is perfect.
He'll do it. I think he'll
him.
He'll play it well. I did see some people who were like upset about that. They were like, he can't play Uncle Iroh. He's not gonna be able to pull it off. But I think the guy's a good enough actor. Like he'll do the role justice.
Have you seen Kim's Convenience?
I have watched every episode.
He is basically Uncle Iroh in that.
He kind of is.
He just doesn't drink as much tea.
No, he kind of is, for sure. I will agree with you. He did kind of sound like him. But I saw him and I was like, I wish it was him. Even though he's too old. Part of me is just like, I wish it was him. I know it can't be. But like the guy they cast to play Zuko looks great, sounds great. Like I'm just being whiny for no reason. Like he seems like he's gonna do a good job. Dante Basco is just like he just has such a distinct voice. I always really liked Zuko. I don't know, he was one of my favorites.
I wonder if there are any good books in the same vein as like Avatar.
The Avatar books.
Well, yeah, but those are graphic novels, right?
Yeah, they're graphic novels.
Yeah, I meant like a novel.
I don't know. I it's probably manga though, because like Avatar is so heavily influenced by manga and anime and Asian
Well, yeah,
styles of entertainment.
it doesn't have to be the exact same thing, but I'm just wondering if someone took inspiration from that.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's a similar book series.
I actually heard about a book that came out not too long ago. I listened to a review about it, and they said they were like, "Wow, they really ripped off Avatar: The Last Airbender here." But they didn't like the book.
Oh, never mind.
I can't remember what the book was though.
I was actually.
So that doesn't. Light Lark, maybe. Maybe that was the name of the book. Light Lark.
I was actually thinking about doing something fun, and now
And put these back while you chit chat.
now that we're doing like, well, I need you here. Oh, you're just okay. Now that we're doing the reviews again, I also think it'd be like an interesting video to do. I want to just go into a bookstore or Walmart or something and just randomly grab a book. Right? I'm not gonna look at what it's about, anything like that. Just grab a random book, read it, and see how it goes.
See how it goes.
I know.
That's scary. I mean, I'm down to do it. But that is scary.
Should go to Barnes and Noble one day and just walk down some random aisle, just grab the first book we see, and
so
that's what we're gonna read.
Not the true crime?
I don't really care. Honestly, as long as it's not the romance aisle.
Okay.
All those books are the same.
Because there are a few true crime true crime.
Not that there aren't like good romance novels, but like all of them have this like cowboy and like a lady on the cover. They all look the same.
Sense and Sensibility is not that. It is one of the best romance novels.
I said there are some good romance novels, but in general, if you walk down the romance section, all the books look the same.
That's the Harlequin romance section. There are degrees of romance. There is the Harlequin romance with the Fabio dude and everyone's half naked on the cover.
Yep.
There is the beachside romance, which is the, I take this to read on the beach on vacation, and it's career girl gets a break and realizes what's important, meets hunk, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Lighthearted romance, I guess. And then there's, Hallmark Christmas movie romance. And then there's supernatural romance. Monsters and Beauty and the Beast.
I think they call that fan fiction.
No, not necessarily. And then there's cringe romance when you're like a 500-year-old vampire and you've got the hots for a teenager. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
That is uncomfortable. I am 400 years old. I'm 16. Ooh, want a bone? That's cringe.
But he looked 18.
Yeah. Problematic at best.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little. But no, I think that's a good idea where we just like look at a cover, pick something, and read it, and just kind of like, or even look at the bestsellers list and look at the bestsellers shelf, and like you pick one, I pick one, and we'll just like see what's up.
Yeah, or like new releases.
If Stephen
Like,
King is
I'm
on there, though, I'm
talking-
picking that one because I know it'll be good.
No, I'm talking about we don't even look at them. We just walk past. You just reach out, grab a book.
Oh,
Whatever you grab,
okay. Don't even
that's
look
it.
at the cover. Don't
Yeah.
even judge the book by its cover.
No
Oh,
judging.
shoot.
No nothing.
All right, I'm
Just
down.
Random book.
I'm down. We can give that a shot. Ramona wants to go back to Barnes & Noble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down.
Okay. I swear. I get like the worst book.
You're going to pick up a book, and then it'll be like Jeffrey Dahmer, The Untold Story.
I know. It'll be something like that. It'll be some book that you're like, ooh, that's great. I'm like, oh. All right. Figured it would end up being something like that, or I would get some lovey-dovey romance, some Harlequin romance. Talked about the first two books of the Empyrean series. No. I haven't actually heard of that. Have you ever heard of the Empyrean series? Oh, it's this one. Didn't you say this was good? We actually saw these books. Right? Aren't these the ones we saw? The cover looks familiar.
Oh, you know what? I think
we
someone
saw
recommended these. I think someone recommended. I think we've seen
There
them.
are dragons.
I mean, dragons are always a good reason.
Yeah. So I haven't really heard anything about these books, but yeah. We saw them in the store not too long ago, and you did say something about them.
This is kind of a side note, but I also would like to make an effort to read more Terry Pratchett.
Why is that?
I read On a Pale Horse, which is a part of the Discworld series. And I absolutely loved it. It was so good. And I just would really like to read more. Like, it's fantasy, but kind of has a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy like flavor to it. Have you ever read The Theory of Boots? The Grimes Economic Theory of Boots?
No.
It comes from the Discworld series, and basically the character says that economics can be summed up in description of what kind of boots you buy. A poor man will buy cheap boots. And they'll go bad in a year, and he'll have to buy another pair. Buying another. A rich man will spend a lot of money on a good pair of boots. They'll last him buy that one pair. While he will spend that big chunk of money, whereas the poor man spend money, actually money, good boot. I'll have to keep buying the cheap, and blah blah blah. And he goes to this whole thing, and he goes, "That's economics, and how it works."
Yep. Buy right, buy once.
Yeah,
that's my philosophy.
But like I told you about On a Pale Horse.
Yeah.
So I read that book. It was really good. It was really funny, but it like takes these deep, complex ideas and makes them light and fun and funny, but you also still kind of get this vain undercurrent of like deep theme and symbolism. And I really liked it, but there's like 30 or 40 of these books. And I've not read any more, so I feel like I should read more of them.
So is it just those two right now for the Empyrean series, the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame? I mean, I'd definitely give them a try.
I mean, I'd check them out.
New York Times bestseller.
How do you feel about the
Optioned for TV by Amazon Studios. Uh-oh.
How do you feel about the what's this? Now I can't think of it. I said Amazon.
Talking about Rings of Power?
No. Oh, like The Name of the Wind series, by Patrick Rothfuss.
Sounds familiar, but I don't think I've read it.
It's
Oh, the third one won't come out until November. That's actually perfect. That would give us enough time to read it.
There's
both of them.
2 books so far in the series. The Name of the Wind, and I can't remember the name of the other book, but they're in a series. And he was like a debut author, and they were considered like crowning achievements in fantasy. And the third one is supposedly supposed to come out, but it's been like 10 years since the third one is supposed to come out.
So they're pulling a Martin.
Yeah, so I'm like, would you read them?
No.
Right?
I'm not reading another series that doesn't have an ending.
Song of Ice and Fire hurts enough. Would you read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell?
I'm not sure what that is.
Look that up.
Here, you're closer to the
Well,
keyboard.
put the thing in.
Cover reminds me, I'm getting like Edgar Allan Poe vibes.
I loved this book so much. I love this book so much.
Only received part 2. Ooh.
It's one big book, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Bestseller and basis for a BBC miniseries. History when they bring back the world. Oh, you just told me about this, right? The Napoleonic Wars. This is where they bring dragons back?
No, this is different.
I mean, it looks interesting.
This book was so good. I loved it. Loved it.
Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
So good.
Reminds me of I just want to keep saying Mrs. Norris.
Mrs. Norris.
All good suggestions.
I feel similarly about the Percy Jackson book. Like, I'll read them. Oh my God, the mitten!
Wait, what?
The mitten!
The Mitten. Yeah.
That book! I loved the shit out of that book when I was a kid. Oh my God, the mitten!
Oh, well, there you go.
What, you just...
What's it about?
It's about a...
It's about a mitten.
It gets lost and all these animals try it on and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh my God, it's so good. It is a kid's book. It is what the mitten. It was a classic.
Did a kitten try it on? Did you have kittens?
I know a hedgehog did, and a bear, and all other kinds of animals.
I was seeing if they had like to be released.
Is that Harry Potter up there? Yeah, okay, I thought so.
Yeah, Thrift Book says all that.
I know. I just read the blurb of the mitten.
Okay. Okay, jeez. I'll do it. A young boy's lost mitten leads to a charming snowy adventure. Jan Brett's beautiful retelling is a family favorite, and the board book edition is the perfect gift for the youngest readers. When Nicky drops his white mitten in the snow, he goes on without realizing that it is missing. One by one, woodland animals find it and crawl in. First a curious mole, then a rabbit, a badger, and others, each one larger than the last. Finally, a big brown bear is followed in by a tiny brown mouse, and what happens next makes for a wonderfully funny climax.
It was a great book.
Okay. You know I'm not going to read this.
I
right?
know you're not going to read it, but it was cute and it was great and it was a part of my childhood, okay?
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Ah, The Kissing Hand. That book is so cute too.
These are all books. Why didn't you get these for Ramona?
I didn't think of them at the time. We need to read The Mitten in a future life.
How old is it? Is it in the public domain?
No.
Oh.
Not that old.
I was going to say you were going to read Winnie the Pooh, so.
I mean, I can read Winnie the Pooh. I can read Winnie the Pooh anytime. We could do something terrible and read the Sarah Moss books.
No, we're going to go in.
We'd both want to kill ourselves, though, I'm sure, if we did.
Why do you say that?
They sound terrible.
Oh.
They sound so awful. Oh my god, look, it's like warrior cats, but a hyena.
Bravelands.
No more.
That's it.
No more. These literally all look like the same book.
That's what I'm saying about the romance.
Well, I'm not the designer of the cover.
I don't know. I feel like there's one person designing romance novel covers lately because they all look the same.
They do all look the same. Oh, The Last to Pie. I'm kind of curious. What a pun. Making pies and killing guys. I mean,
I'm scared.
I would read The Tao of Pooh, and I probably would really like it because I have some Luna Lovegood vibes, even though I am very much a science person. None of any of this looks. None of these covers get me.
This is why we gotta just go and grab something.
I mean, okay, maybe Rental Person Who Does Nothing. I might read that one. Just purely on the energy of that one. Wild Cards. George R. R. Martin presents
Oh, that's what he's been doing.
the Wild Cards universe. Ugh. Ooh, fancy. That's nice.
Well, on that note.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty much all I had. I have an exhaustive list, but I kind of ran through it.
Yeah, I feel like we're just going through. Like, oh, that book looks cool.
We're just looking at stuff and not. Sorry.
The words I see: curiosity, exploration, and discovery at the dawn all books.
by Fei Fei Li. I mean, there are so many books and so little time. So we are going to try to read what we can read and review what we can review over the course of this next year. And hopefully we read all the books that we want to read. And maybe we'll do that experiment where we'll just go to the store and grab something and we're going to read it. And then we'll review it and say, I loved it. Or I hated it. Or,
I mean, it's worked out for me quite a few times. That's how I ended up reading Drunk.
That's true.
Which is one of my favorite books now. It was really interesting.
I mean, it's worked out for me in that I have a stack of things that I very much know that I will like. I just have to read them.
Yes, you do. On that note, hope you all have a great night, great afternoon, wherever you may be.
Thank you all for popping in for our return live stream. It's been a while, but it feels so good to be back.
We'll be sure to do this again soon.
Yeah, so keep your ears peeled and your eyeballs out.
Your eyeballs, what? I'm okay.
Pop them out. Pop them right out.
You've been reading too many of those murder novels.
With a spoon, just like ice cream. A scoop.
You're a great influence. All right. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
See you soon.